What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hey, if you haven't yet, please do consider clicking that red subscribe button down below the video. I'm here grinding every single workday and usually Saturdays, covering a wide variety of topics. So maybe this isn't your topic, but I probably will have something you're interested in. And I would really greatly appreciate you subscribing, since it'll be the only way you'll ever find my videos. Now, Squid Game is the latest kind of Netflix series to take the world by storm. And you might be saying, what the heck is Squid Game? Well, it's a Korean show that essentially is like, there's like 450 people that all compete in basically what is like a battle royale style game but with like kids games. They're all people that are financially struggling, and they compete for like $40 million in prize money. First and foremost, if you're going to watch this show, it does have subtitles, and I know that's an issue for some people. For example, my wife doesn't like shows with subtitles because she likes to be doing something else while we're just listening to TV. Most television is totally fine for this, but you're going to have to dial into it. Now, I started watching it a little bit, and thus far, it's pretty good. I'm not going to say it's the best thing I've ever seen. It's probably too early to tell, but you can see it doesn't seem like it was going. I think it's basically a surprise hit. And it's going to end up being, according to Netflix, their biggest show ever. This is a show that only has 7 critic ratings, but they gave it 100%. And the audience score gave it an 87%. Now, I don't know if they're holding back reviews because it just seems like, not that many. But the show itself has obviously some issues. There are some plot holes I'm already seeing. It's not the perfect show, but it is something. It feels different. Now, if you're as old as me, you might remember Running Man, which was more of a comedy with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he was competing in various tasks, basically in Mortal Kombat. One of you're trying to, you're up against Sub-Zero, once Sub-Zero, now just plain Zero. That whole movie. And then, like, people bet on how long or who will get, like, the next kill, and it's, like, this dystopian thing. It's actually a pretty good movie. Now that I'm starting to think back about it, I should probably put that back in. That's the vibes I got. Even though it's not really the same, it kind of felt like Running Man to me. But overall, like, seems to be very surprising. You see, Netflix says new Korean series, Squid Game, could be our biggest show ever. Now, what's probably going to happen is they're going to do an American version of it, and it's going to suck. Netflix may have a hit on their hands. A streaming service, the new Korean language series, Squid Game, is slated to be the company's biggest show of all time. Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos explained that during the annual Code Conference Monday that Squid Game will definitely be the streamer's biggest non-English series. There's a very good chance this will be their biggest show ever, he said of the show, which premiered on September 17th. Hundreds of cash-strapped players accept a strange invitation to compete in children's games. The show's description reads, "Inside a tempting prize awaits with deadly high stakes." On Rotten Tomatoes at 100% critic rating and a 87% fan rating. For Squid Game to be the hottest series on Netflix, would have to beat the Spanish series Money Heist. Never even seen that. The drama's 4th season is now Netflix's biggest debut at 65 million households. Dang, I've never even heard of it. Adding to the list is Shonda Rhimes' hits Bridgerton, never seen that either, with 82 million households, and all these eyeballs watching young people, oh yeah, it's a steamy type show. Essentially, you must compete in the game. That's kind of similar to Running Man. You have to compete or you face elimination, and in this case, elimination is death. But of course, we have to get woke, right? Squid Game's scathing critique of capitalism. Squid Game's anti-capitalist parable isn't a reflection of our society. It is our society. At the most basic level, the entire competition within Squid Game would not exist without extreme financial distress, creating a ready pool of players. That's not necessarily true. I think the type of people who would do almost anything for a small amount of money is very different than the amount of people who are willing to compete for $40 million. I think that's a little different. It's no coincidence that the hard time started when he lost a job, followed by bad behavior against the workers who went on strike breakers, things like that may feel antiquated idea to American audience. South Korea, however, has something of an anti-labor reputation, with only 10% of its workers in unions and laws limiting unions to negotiating pay, among other restrictions. In the U.S., the anti-labor fight is alive and well, though transformed, where it takes place of deceptively named right-to-work laws, which benefit corporations and make it harder for unions to operate. I'm not a fan of unions. They've never done anybody any good in my life. 50 years ago, maybe we could talk about it. I don't think police unions are good. I don't think teachers unions are good. And I think it ultimately leads to, in terms of a B2C standpoint, customers getting substandard products, substandard services. But that's neither here nor there. As an anti-capitalist parable, the only ways to fight back or upend the game in some small way are through acts of solidarity or by turning down the allure of cash. The final clause in the game's consent form states that the game can end if a majority of the players agree to do so. After the brutal red light and green light in the first, I'm not actually going to spoil. I don't want to spoil any of it. I don't want to spoil it. But just like with any major show, with any, cultural phenomenon, everybody has to attach to it and spin it the way they want to spin it. My recommendation would be to, maybe try to go into the show, basically blind and unjaded, because you have the Daily Mail writing this article. Is this the most twisted series on TV? Netflix's Squid Game, about a fictional battle royale styled game show with scenes of organ harvesting and all sorts of stuff, is slammed for excessive bad behavior by viewers. A gruesome Netflix horror series, I don't really consider it horror based on what I've seen, but a fictional deadly game show in which poverty-stricken characters compete in a battle royale style to win money. Korean-made Squid Game, one of the most streamed shows in the US and the UK, features grisly scenes of characters being ended. It has become a cult hit with fans of the slasher horror genre who have dubbed the 9-part series Saw Meets Hunger Games. Yeah, I could see that. And reveled in scenes of really terrible things. But some TV fans have been left repulsed by the over-the-top style, with several saying that they could not even make it through the first episode, and others recommending it being banned for viewers under 20. Netflix has faced criticism for increasingly spicily rated programming with soft core stuff, which all sorts of stuff happening in it. We know that. We see what they've done with the dancing girls, right? Seriously, Squid Game is the worst series I've ever watched. So hematic. I'm not sure what that even means. I'm this close to crying. The show's over the top. I thought the same too. In each episode of Squid Game, characters take part in brutal versions of traditional children's games like Grandmother's Footsteps or British Bulldogs, where the winners progress into the next round of the game show. The losers are deleted by a masked squad standing by with things to do so. The story centers around gambling addict Seong Ji-hun. It's probably mispronounced that wrong. Gi-hun. And his childhood friend, disgraced banker wanted by the police. And I don't want to talk about how it shows, how the show ends. Seriously, Squid Game is the worst series I've ever watched. It's so cliche. I wonder how all these people like it. Another minute, I'm close to crying. I just smashed Squid Game on Netflix. I had no idea it was going to be about half an episode in, and I could not stop watching. Shocking, brutal, loved it, 9 out of 10. I think generally when you have, movies that are hyped at this level, they're never going to live up. I remember when the Tiger King mania was going on, right? And it was difficult to even imagine anything touching the insanity that was Tiger King. And then there was another thing. And then there was another thing. At least what I can say about this is it's something a little different. If you want to enjoy it without digging deep into its deep messaging about capitalism, it seems fine. If you don't like, for me, Saw, those movies I don't like. I don't like the gore stuff. I like the puzzles, I like the mystery, but I don't like the over-the-top, like, stomach-churning stuff. That's just not for me. I know some people enjoy it. I'm not saying it's objectively bad. I'm just saying that's not my type of horror. I like suspense, that kind of stuff. But it is a massive success, and there will be, whether or not there'll be a sequel. The writer and director who had a massive success on the big screen in recent years says he might have to return to movies before he gets there. I don't have a well-developed plan for Squid Game 2, he told Variety. It's quite tiring just to think about it. But if we were to do it, I would certainly not do it alone. I consider using a writer's room, and there would be multiple experienced directors. There's a lot of shows on Netflix that are getting extraordinarily spicy. This is another step in that direction. I'm not one to call for a show to be canceled or removed, and I'm not going to do it for this. But yeah, some people, they don't want to see it. I'll be interested to see what you have to say about the show. Have you watched it? Is it as good as people say? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you subscribe before you leave, and we'll talk to you again real soon.